Hotel fam, you are tuned in to the OG Wisdom podcast, the knowledge of the past, the present, and the future. Hotel fam.
Peace, family. It's your brother Tad on the check-in 1212. Want to thank y'all for joining us today at the OG Wisdom Podcast while we wait on my brother Gutta. Today we're gonna discuss some of the hip hop beefs that's going on right now and some of the internet shenanigans. Also, I don't know how y'all feel about this, but should Candace Owens be allowed in the black community, or as some would say, back in the black community? I would like to know your thoughts and opinions and views on this topic. Peace to Sister Farnessa, BB Fahudiye Queen. We in the house. We in the house. You know, given the state of affairs right now, where our community is, we see a lot of rappers who pretty much made it out the ghetto, I guess you could say. You know, not necessarily the community, but out the hood. But move forward with this hood mentality. I definitely like to know your thoughts and opinions on this, because here it is. I know folks who are still in the hood that's struggling to get out don't want to be involved in certain behaviors once they hit that money, once they get to the bag. Some behaviors got to be left behind. But what we see now in hip hop is folks get to the bag and then adopt this gangster personality, this gangster lifestyle, and invite the violence into their life, so to speak. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to know, as the family, the audience, some people who are still in the hood, what's y'all thoughts and opinion on this? Because I know if I'm hitting a few $1,000,000, I'm not arguing with nobody. I try not to argue with nobody now with any kind of foolishness going on in the streets. However, folks that get the money, afford a new entourage, have some gangsters, some goons around them, and feel this is their ticket to talk strong to other people. Now, I don't know how to make sense of this. You know, rich people beefing, rich people arguing, like that don't make no sense to me. What makes sense to me is getting to the bag, taking care of your family, ensuring their safety, because outside of us arguing with each other, we got other enemies in our peripheral. You know, you got killer cops, you got racist neighbors, you got folks who don't think you deserve your money. So why is it that once folks get to the bag, they start beefing? You know what I mean? So that's something we want to delve into. Also, we're gonna review some of the music by some of these artists, because Kendrick Lamar, Drake, J. Cole are all beefing, and even Rick Ross jumped into it. Now Chris Brown and Quavo from the Migos are beefing. And these are though some of us as adults may not really listen to this music, these are the artists that our young people are looking up to, taking their social cues from them. So we want to unpack that and critique that. And of course, if you have any comments, you could definitely put them in the inbox. You know, we'll get to it. Also, Candace Owens. Don't know how some people feel about her. Some people love her, some people hate her, some people are unfamiliar with who she is. But should she be allowed in the black community or not? Candace Owens was at a Revolt conference a couple of years ago and had some verbal words with T.I. and a few other panelists. And she was looked at as a house Negro, as a coon. Some people don't like Candace Owens. So we definitely going to delve into that. Sometimes she say things that we can agree with, sometimes she doesn't. I would like to know the audience opinion and views on how we feel about Candace Owens as a collective and who should be speaking. You know, because we're not organized enough to have a spokesperson, a person who could voice their opinion on what we should be doing as a community, what we shouldn't be doing as a community. So I'm just definitely curious on how our family feels about that. Our sister Farnessa says she can kick rocks. Candace Owens could kick rocks. She was working for a Jewish publication, a Jewish media platform, and she was recently kicked off, rather fired by Ben Shapiro for not supporting Israel. Now, for some of these people who are in these positions, do y'all think that You have to openly support Israel in order to get the money that you're looking for. We hear about it in the entertainment industry. In fact, these are some of the allegations people make of, against Drake, being half black, half white, mixed, and supposed to have Jewish ancestry. If I'm not mistaken, his mother's supposed to be part Jewish. And many say that this is part of the reason why Drake got the push that he has, particularly with him not even being one of the best MCs. Though people may call him a GOAT, many know that he has a ghostwriter. And even now, moving forward, his diss response to Kendrick Lamar is an AI version of Tupac and Snoop Dogg jumping on the track, which kind of bugs me out because if you're an MC, you're supposed to stand on your own talent and skills. You're not supposed to have no ghostwriter and definitely not a computer generated rap. So I definitely want to know what is folks' thoughts and opinions on that. Like, is that really battling? Is that cheating? What is it? Because I'm out the loop with what battling is now. Because I look at the battle rap league and that's battling. With a lot of these artists out there, Charlie Clips and the likes, what they're doing is battling. That's battling, being witty, making up your own rhymes, talking about current events, what's relevant, making it relative to the time right now. But having a ghostwriter and I don't know if we can call that rap or hip hop anymore. But I'm out the loop because one thing I do know for a lot of rappers, this is show business. And it's more business than anything. It's not about the talent, it's not about the skill. It's about selling records for those who are cutting the checks, financing some of these artists. So, family, I like to know what's your thoughts and opinions. Peace to our brother Magnetic Tyson on the check-in. Brother Magnetic Tyson, I definitely like you to chime in real quick. Want to see what your thoughts and opinions since you're an OG from the hip hop era. And definitely, what direction do we see our community moving in? Is this healthy for the culture, the rap battles, the going back and forth? Because we know with your entourage, some people in your clique is goons, and some people will look at it as business. You rap, you battling somebody's favorite artist, but some people in your entourage may take it as disrespect and they may take it to the weapon. So when people are out partying and clubbing, it'll go left. I remember Fat Joe talked about an incident where him being street thorough had cost him a lot of money. He was telling the story of how when Terror Squad first got on, he had an entourage of like 100 dudes, and they always rolled with him. And the representative from Red Stripe had wanted to get the Fat Joe to offer him a business opportunity. But he had so many goons around him, the business guy looked like a square, so they didn't let dude close to Fat Joe. So he ended up going home, and that was a missed opportunity for Fat Joe. And he talked about learning the lesson in that on who you have around you and who you have with your entourage. And I just want young G's to recognize that if you rapping, if you doing this, this is a business. You can't look at it as hustling on the block. Even though you chasing the bag, it got to be a different mindset because now you're playing the long game because you want legitimate money. You're not ducking and dodging police. Most you may be ducking and dodging is the IRS. And you want real accountants to help you get that situation straight so you can really enjoy your money and not live the life looking over your shoulder. Because when you really out there in the streets like this, you're always going to have to look over your shoulders. You always got to. You got to worry about the stick-up kids. You got to worry about the haters. You got to worry about the killers. You got to worry about the money-hungry baby mothers. And you got to worry about the police. But once you start getting legitimate money, you start relieving some of those enemies. You pay the IRS, they taxes, they not bothering you. You doing something legit, chances are police is not going to be on you as hard as if you're on the block. Not to say the police ain't going to bother you, but they're not going to be on your back like if you're on the block. You're still going to have killers. You're still going to have haters. You're still going to have baby moms, trying to stick their hands in your pockets. So these are the things I want dudes to be mindful of because as time goes on and the children grow, teenagers, the people in their 20s, the people in their 30s, those of us who move to our 30s, 40s, and 50s, we still see the same mistakes that are constantly being made by every generation. So how do we get these people into a place of safety? Because we lost Biggie due to miscommunication, misunderstanding. We lost Tupac. We lost Nipsey Hussle. I think the first person to really pass away in hip hop was Scott LaRock due to a little discrepancy D Nice had with somebody else. And when you really pull back the layers to old beef, these new dudes, I don't know now, but when you really pull back the layers to old beef, a lot of that was misunderstandings. So the whole thing for OG Wisdom is we trying to impart wisdom on you, how we could quell some of the misunderstandings and let them grow into beef. Whereas Big said, beef is when your moms ain't safe in the streets. Because many of us, or some of us may not know, there's a young rapper named Honeycomb Brazy who had beef. And since his ops couldn't catch him, burnt his grandparents' home and, attacked his grandparents. Peace be upon them. So it's like, as a me as an OG, as somebody who was once out there engaged in stuff like that, parents, grandparents, elders was always off limits. But to the new generation, it's almost like no one is off limits. And children are being caught in the crossfire, and elders and the people who are supposed to be safe from the war outside, the civilians, they're not safe. And a lot of this escalate through music, through hip hop. So when you see big artists, multimillionaires arguing and beefing, what message are we sending to the people that's coming behind us? That's something that I really want our folks to dig into, because those of us who made it to become OGs, the OG status, it's our responsibility, whether we want it or not. We can't we can't bury our heads in the sand and act like we don't see our future generation committing genocide. We can't act like these things don't affect us. Because sure enough, as we don't have these conversations with the young people that's out there, but like, well, my children are good. They go to school. They not involved in that lifestyle. That makes our children victims because they're not involved in that lifestyle. And not saying they should get involved, but we got to really have these honest conversations on how do we keep our young people safe? How do we keep the future generation moving forward? Because even if it's not the self-hate, even if it's not the ignorance and hatred of the hood, you still have a system that was built trying to destroy us as Black folks, as melanated folks, whatever you want to call us. One thing I don't use is people of color. We have a system that we have to fight against and stand against. And the system isn't just the courthouse. It just isn't the police. It's the entertainment industry that creates a narrative and images that we can't control ourselves. And when we perpetuate that for the bag, that shows a lack of integrity. And this is why, as a community, we're not able to move forward, but we're constantly rolling backwards and talking about what's going on with our children. The problem is we're not stepping up as OGs and we're not giving guidance to the YGs. And that's our responsibility, especially those of us who've been in the trenches, who've been in the streets, who've been to the penal system, who was able to make it out with their manhood and their sanity intact. It's our obligation. It's our job. It's the price we pay to stay here on this planet. Because many people talk about these young people don't have no guidance, but who's offering guidance to the youth? And some of these people aren't as young as we like to think of them as. Some of them are in their 30s, some of them in their 20s. I know when I was in my 30s and my 20s, I was functioning and operating as an adult. I wasn't a 30-year-old teenager like we see today. We see some 40-year-olds still want to live their past. And I say that because a lot of these dudes wasn't nothing when they was in high school. They wasn't nothing. They wasn't them dudes. They wasn't popping off. They wasn't tough guys. Because I watch dudes today who still got something to prove. And if you over 30 years old and you got something to prove, that means you never proved yourself back when you were supposed to. When you was a youth, when you was a young boy, a young teenager, 13, 14, 15, 16. When you supposed to be in all that knucklehead stuff back then, you wasn't about that life. You hid, you ducked, and now that the smoke is cleared, you come out the woodwork like you was really there, and you wasn't. You was sitting in the windows. You was running hot, and you was witnessing the stories, but you wasn't an active participant. So please stop it. So don't come outside. And this is for the supposedly OGs. Please don't come outside acting like you was putting in work when all you did was watch from the sideline while your cousin or your brother or your man was putting in that work. and you just witnessed it. But now you want to tell the young dudes like you is there. And the ones who really put in the work, God bless, either transitioned or they still incarcerated. So those of us who are around, we really got to give the message to the young people. And when we see foul play going on in the field, we got to call it. We got to call it when it's a foul ball. We got to call it when it's a flagrant foul, because some of these old dudes ain't OGs. They just old heads. And they not solidified with nobody nowhere. Their reputation is tarnished. Now, me, I don't brag on those stuff that I've done in the past because I'm grateful to be alive and free. But for those who may know what I'm about. I'm all about uplifting the community, because if I had to get busy in my hood, it was to protect the people of the hood. I ain't own no property in my hood that I grew up in. I did not own the apartment I grew up in. I did not own the building, but I was in charge of the safety of the elders on the block and the young people that wanted to play outside. That was my duty, you know. But I'm gonna step off my soapbox real quick. We're gonna delve deeper into this as I bring my brother C-Gutta in here. C-Gutta, where you at?
What's good, King? Peace.
Peace to the God, peace to the God, Gutter. What's the
Sorry
word?
for the tardiness. Had some laundry I got to take over. Still cleaning the crib too. So
No doubt. That's grown man stuff, man. Ain't got nobody doing chores for us and things like that. But did you get to catch some of what I was talking about in terms of our responsibility, beefs in the hood, and now you got these millionaire artists beefing with each other? You know, what's your thoughts and opinions on that there?
I don't think they beefing. That ain't beef. That's just competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
And
good. Like stuff like that is good for hip hop.
yeah. And
At
see,
least coming from the where we came with it. You know what I'm saying? Long as they know it, understand it's not a beef, it's just competition. You know what I mean?
yeah. And I'm
So,
glad you said that, because that's a point I hit on. Because for the artist, it may be just business, but dudes in the entourage may look at it different. You was part of a huge entourage. The difference is you was on the inner circle of the huge entourage. I'm quite sure when y'all rolled out, it's like 40, 50 dudes. But you know, in essence,
no,
this
not really.
not really.
No.
I'm talking about
Like,
local shows, because I know what you
look,
know,
but it's not the entourage, it's just everybody from the hood gonna come.
but that's my point.
And it's
That's
not
my point.
necessary. It's not an entourage. It's like your entourage is the people that you with
Right. But
going
see,
everywhere.
right. And
You know what
that's
I'm
where
saying?
I'm going with it, Gutter. So elaborate on the
So
hood coming.
certain people is hangers on. There's a difference between entourage and hangers on.
Elaborate.
Your entourage is your people.
Yeah.
Hangers on is they could be down the way, but that's not your man like that. He's just from down the way.
And that's where I'm going with it. Now, hold that thought right there, right? The hangers on is at the club. Like one night, Big had a show at the arena. I don't know if he was home then. And we went out.
9 out of 10, I wasn't.
Right. We went out there massively deep. And I ain't gonna front. Big shitted on Zulu. And dudes, he said, yo, it was a Zulu Nation party, as a matter of fact, at the arena. In fact, a clip of that show is in the Dead Wrong video. But Big was like, yo, y'all want to hear party and bullshit, and I don't want to do that, and I don't fuck with Zulu like that. He said that on stage. Word to everything. So now we the hood. If anybody would have acted stupid, you know we gonna pop off, because it's the hood out there. And this is what I'm saying. In terms, had that escalated, some of us from the hood could have took it further, as Big could have talked to who needed to be talked to and dealt.
Dudes gonna take it further.
I'm sorry?
Dudes is gonna take it further. But you gotta understand mind states as well. What was the majority of the hood mind state? We was on bullshit. I mean, I was in prison, so you already know we was on bullshit.
That's
You understand what I'm saying? So it has to you got to understand at time Big ain't have nowhere near the pull or the money that the dudes that's with the back and forth now.
Right.
Big wasn't on that level when beefing. You know what I'm saying? When Big got to a certain level, he didn't want that type of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Because it hampers, and like competition is one thing. He definitely was with that. You know what I'm saying? As competitive on the mic, but not no, you know what I'm saying? Not taking it further.
Well, that's where I'm going with the
It
hanging
hampers
on.
your cash. But these dudes, this is you got to understand, Tad. These dudes know, man. It's not like they not aware. They know everything that goes down. That's why all this little back and forth, you ain't seen nothing, my guy. Now
But
the young cats that was they never got a real chance to transition from the streets. That's the dudes that you have to with. These dudes is multimillionaires, and
that's
none of them and none of them are no longer in those situations.
right. But that's the point I was making, because you take the Migos and Chris Brown beefing right now. These millionaires. But remember,
Yeah, this is something I was see. I didn't really I caught that yesterday, literally.
right? Me too. In fact, not yesterday, this morning. But this is why I want to go, because Chris Brown and Quavo is beefing. But let's not forget what happened to Takeoff. Takeoff was Chip. God bless them. You know what I'm saying? So these conversations, you would think that dudes who got these M's won't go there, but it is going there.
But they
Because
not going there. They're talking, brother.
but how Takeoff
They're
get?
talking.
Where's
And their
Takeoff?
people is not going there. The
Where's
only people that will go there is dumb niggas in the street that don't have nothing to do with none of them.
That's what I'm saying.
But this is what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with them.
People make it about that.
But this it has not tad. Like it has absolutely nothing to do with the evil artist or their entourage. It's just fans. This has been going on forever, my nigga.
Right.
This is not a new development.
So how do as OGs in the hood? Because now you had
that's something that we have absolutely no control. That's
so
like
we have influence.
Controller.
But you have influence.
No, we don't. We absolutely
I'm
don't.
not Gutta. You never dated a beef? You never dated a beef in your life?
Yeah, but that's not beef, Tad. This is what I'm saying.
No. I'm not talking about the artists right now.
Huh?
I'm not talking about the artists. I'm talking about the violence. That's what I'm talking about. The misunderstanding
that has nothing to do with none of the artists. None of them or they people is doing anything, my nigga.
God, I want you to hear me. I just want you to hear me. And then you can respond, right? When you deaded beef, right?
No, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. Never.
You never deaded beef?
Never.
Why not?
Personally, never.
If two cats beef and you never said, nah, son, leave that alone. That shit ain't about nothing.
Beef and arguing is two different things, Tad.
No, I'm talking about beef. I'm saying beef. I know the difference between beef and arguing. I've had beef.
If I never squashed no beef ever in my life.
No,
well, I never.
And it was because of my influence. It was because I got dudes to realize we know how beef ends. Somebody dying and somebody going to jail. But now, as somebody with influence, like me for say, dudes would come to me or I would intervene. Like, bro, y'all need to sit down because if this go further, somebody gonna die, somebody gonna go to jail. Nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to go to jail. So I'm talking about influence as an OG. I'm talking about me personally, and I'm talking about any OG. This is why Jay Prince steps in when sometimes things go too far. Because if you could save a life, why not do it?
This is my thing, and I have a entirely different view. All of this is publicized purposely. That's my point. This is not like former days, my nigga. That's what I'm saying. All of that is purposely driven.
By who?
Huh?
By who? And what's the purpose?
By the people they just trying to get money. By the big corporations and these dumb niggas that thinking that will make them pop.
Right. And That point right there. And I'm not in disagreement. I'm just saying it's multi-layered, Gutter, and we got to peel back the layers because dudes who think the beef make it pop,
It's really not multi-layered.
It is,
that's the point
because
that I'm
dudes
trying
is
to
really
say.
dying. We can't deny that dudes are not dying behind rap beef. And not necessarily these artists right now, but we could look at a King Von, a FBG Dope. We could look at a lot of artists. We could look at what's our little dude named from Canarsie?
Did you
Pop
listen
Smoke.
to
Dudes is really getting chipped.
Yeah, but he's not getting chipped. Pop Smoke ain't get chipped over no beef.
Right.
Pop
right.
Smoke got chipped because he went out there playing games. You went into a gang territory and let people know where you at. Like, bro, if anybody come to Brooklyn, why would they want to come to the hood? Rapper, anybody. What makes you think that you can come to a neighborhood where nobody knows you? You hopping out. They even if you don't have money, they think you got money because they know your face. You're gonna have on jewelry.
I'm not disagreeing with that part at all, because we know that dudes want to go to the hood for credibility.
Don't be a lot of these dudes. That's just like the kid from Texas, Mo3.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to understand what these kids came into the industry with that already. They didn't. The
mindset.
No, with the beef. All these kids that really died recently, they beef was already before they even got recognition.
And some of them is when they got recognition.
No.
Yes.
Name one.
What's the young boy from Philly that got clipped in on Cali that had the jewelry?
Got no beef. He got robbed. This is what I'm saying. That has nothing to do with beef. Beef is one thing, and brothers put themselves out there is another, brother.
No, I agree with that part, because I can't think of nobody beef offhand, but there were artists who were down and they started beefing and dudes got chipped. Because I don't listen to the little dudes like that. I just look at what's happening with the young people.
That's what I'm saying. Tad, you're falling victim to the same thing these other dudes do, the YouTube thing, where you get pieces and assume it's one thing when it's a not.
If dudes was down,
dudes is telling on each other every day. They telling on each other about stuff they had was going on before they ever blew up.
But I'm talking about when dudes was down with each other. You can see dudes, the drill rappers, a lot of young drill rappers.
That's what I'm saying. Who? None of them was down with each other. All of them that end up being deceased never was down with each other. They was already beefing before they ever got on.
Now, I would disagree with that. I'll just have to look that up. I would have to look that up.
Look it up. This is what I'm saying.
Everything, a lot of it ain't as cut and dry as we would like to think. And I'm not.
No, majority of it, 90% of it is what it is. And what happens is, like, what our community for the past 30 years, I don't know why, love jumping into conspiracy theories.
Give me one for example.
Tupac's still alive. Come on, stop it, Mike. Come on, stop it, Tad.
Come on with that one.
Come on, brother.
Yeah, it is crazy, but I'm not talking about conspiracies.
It's really crazy.
Laid out.
It's really crazy because the average dude I talk to on the street comes with some dumbass conspiracy theory every day. We are so uninformed that we like to grab shit out the air and just make something, bro.
Well, I ain't talking about a conspiracy. I'm talking about the reality.
No, I'm talking about as a community, we are so uninformed. Yeah. That's what I'm saying is we'll take something that is cut and dried and add 3 other things to it.
Well, what I'm talking about,
I give you another one, Nip.
Yeah, well, you know,
bro, we got 100 different conspiracies to everything that happens to anybody, my guy.
Right. Well, I'm not going for the conspiracies. I'm talking about the end result of what has happened, what is proven. Because the conspiracy is what people can't prove, and they put it, oh, this one did it, this one, that one did it.
No, they make stuff out
I
after
agree.
it's been proven already.
I agree. But I'm talking about as
Bro,
OGs.
For 30 years, they've been talking about Pac, and people saw pictures of his autopsy.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not even talking about conspiracy theories.
You traumatizing his family members. This is the media to make money.
And see,
And not just the media, but our own community.
right. And I don't want to, because you just hit something on the head, because I don't want to spend too much time there debating about that part. Because the conspiracy part, I agree with you with. What I'm talking about is the disrespect and how people, the hanger-ons, not necessarily the entourage, because dudes is clapping. Let's not act like it's not gonna happen. Let's not act like it's not happening. But you did your bid, hold it down the clip. Let's not act like it don't go down. We're not gonna do that. But here it is, right? Because I'm glad you brought that up, because now the new sensational.
Neither Big or Pac died in the situation that had something to do with them. Neither one of them. Totally unconnected.
Yep.
Come on, bro.
You know, I know.
One had nothing to do with the other.
You know, and I know. It goes back to what you're saying about the conspiracy. But now, let's fast forward to today. When people do get chipped and why they get chipped. Charleston White makes fun of Gilly. Peace to Gilly's child, peace to the family. That causes beef. That's not an argument. That's not a misunderstanding. If somebody get their block knocked off behind that, and that's because Charleston White, at his age, there got to be some level of humility.
Who? Because he's a grown, he's damn near 50, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
So who's gonna tell him anything? Let's be honest.
That's my point. Has somebody told him from the beginning, and there's going to be more coming up behind him.
He's been doing this as a older adult.
That goes back to what I was saying earlier. Tom, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Dudes who really wasn't in the field like that are now acting like they was out there like that, because you and I know the consequences of disrespecting somebody's child and things like that. You and I know why, because we came through the ranks properly.
Yeah, but we in the internet age, Tad.
Right. And people still get clipped. People still get clipped.
I mean, but this is what I'm saying.
How would you respond? Put yourself in Gilly's shoes. How would you respond? Somebody, you lose a loved one, and somebody just going viral teasing, making fun about it. Does the internet matter? Do you be like, oh, that's just internet talk?
You're gonna have to. Tad, all right. After now,
that's some on site shit.
Listen, yeah, but on site to do what?
Pop his head.
All right.
And I ain't talking about take him out, but we gotta fight.
No,
we gotta thump.
But that's what I'm saying. He's not fighting.
So you think he clapping?
Bro, he's sending you to jail, or he's pepper spraying you, or so if you're not coming with the intentions to really do him harm, complete harm, let that man do all the talking he wants, because he's doing it purposely. He wants you to fuck your life around. So you're gonna oblige him? Be honest, you gonna oblige him? As an OG.
Yeah, not lose my life, not give away my freedom.
But that's what you're doing. You putting yourself in that position, knowing that's what his target is.
But then you outsmart him.
How?
Be smarter. It's where there's a will, there's a way. Anybody could get got, and we all know that. Anybody could get got.
Yeah, but
nobody above being touched. Nobody. President. Nobody.
This is what I'm saying, bro. Because some people is not even worth the attention.
Now you don't make a song about
you know how many times I done been behind the wall and them crackers and say some foul shit about your mother, your grandmother, whatever. and none of them ain't get dealt with.
And then you never seen the CEO get popped on?
Yeah. But at the
Anybody
same
get it?
at the same time, most times it be dudes that don't care. They don't care about the consequences. OG wisdom, bro.
But see, and that's I
I
agree with you. But
time out, brother. It's OG wisdom. So you just gonna throw all of that out the window just to get at a little dude that's trying to set you up to either go to jail or get killed by the police or something like that. Because he's 9 times out of 10, he's not gonna do anything to you physically. But if he spray you, what you gonna do? Now you're gonna take it to the next level, brother. You understand what I'm saying? That's automatic. He pull a knife out on me, you know what I'm thinking. The next time I see you, I'm gonna knock your head off. Come on, bro. Let's be realistic with this as well.
But that's what I'm saying. What you said, the next time I see you, if he's trying to set you up, you set him up. Because God, I want you to hear this real quick. The point I was making is that it don't have to be you. Dudes in the entourage, you call them hanger-ons. It's whoever, but you don't have to do nothing. You don't have to touch somebody. I've had beef with, like, this is what hitters are for. We know this.
No, but I never, like, this is the thing, Tad, I never had hitters.
Because you are one. That's my point.
That's why I wouldn't respond to him, because I know where I'm taking it. That's OG wisdom, bro.
Yes, to outthink him.
Yeah, not even respond.
Because this is, and then when you see him, right, you don't respond. Don't respond, because I'm not even talking about a response. I'm not talking about a verbal response, because I'm not going to argue.
Period. First of all, I'm not searching for him.
Nah.
This is what people got to understand. Once you put yourself in the public spectrum, that's why I never really like being put there. You understand what I'm saying? I'm more mature now, so I know how to, you know what I'm saying? But before, when I was younger, because I know where my first thought is. You got to remember, our first thought be violence, bro. Let's not,
of course.
let's you know,
of course,
that be from our background, our first thought. So we have to check ourselves
all the time. Yes.
But so a cat like that, like, he can't get absolutely no response.
Because see, and here's my thing, because I'm not even talking about Gilly responding. I'm not talking about Gilly responding, because he's doing this smart. Gilly he's being smart. You don't broadcast. You don't say, yo, when I see him, I'm gonna catch him, because that's wasted energy. What I'm talking about is the environment that Charleston is creating for himself, part one. Because I'm not talking about Gilly's response. I'm just talking about the environment that people create. Because, all right, if me and the man is beefing,
how long he been creating that environment? It's purposeful,
right? And then when what happens, how do we respond? As the antagonizer is the victim. Because then you get, right, you didn't deserve that. Those was just words. And I'm not saying I wish that upon him. I'm not saying that neither. I'm just talking about, Gutta, we know how this story goes. We know how it goes.
We know the consequences.
Yes. Yes.
There's and this consequences is for every action, bro. I don't speak negative on people, but I do know that I have opinions.
Right, definitely.
But I don't deal with opinions, I deal with facts. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to speak an opinion, you know what I'm saying? Because the opinion doesn't matter. Our opinions don't really matter. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it doesn't. But part of it does. This is why folks tune in. What is our opinion on the state of affairs? What is going on? And how can people navigate themselves out of situations?
Because it's what I'm dealing with it's not an opinion. I'm going to deal with facts. There is consequences. negative and positive.
And that's where.
So I'm not gonna. I
That's my
can't.
point.
It's negative and positive. The positive
That's my
consequences that he's getting are he's getting views and he's making his money. But
Right.
there are negative consequences.
And that's where I was going with it, because as influencers, because that's the thing. When we was coming up, it wasn't no influencers. Like dudes didn't even use that word. We just said, "Yo, dude, put a battery in your back." But people are influenced. That's the word. People are influenced by what they see other people do and think they can get away with certain behaviors. And we have to let young people know who's looking up to him, because a lot of things before you jumped on, I prefaced it with dudes getting money, jumping in the streets, dudes acting like OGs when they wasn't even a YG, because there's certain protocols we know, Gutta. Even if we got beef with a dude and something happened to his family, I like to think for myself, and it's you as well, we're not gonna go on the internet and laugh at it. And like, you know, even if me and the dude been banging at each other, I'm not gonna laugh at a child being taken out of here, because like I said, not Gilly, but there's other people who love the young boy. You know what I'm saying? There's other people. And when you create that atmosphere, when it comes to
you got other family members.
That's my point.
He might have a cousin that's a young boy. But that's what I'm saying is, like I said, there are consequences.
Right. And I'm in agreement with you.
We know the environment we live in. So I'm not going to really speak on, you know, the specifics,
right,
of what they have, but like it's consequences, bro.
Yeah.
And you travel the country. So but this is my point. It's not like he's a young boy. That's where the difference is. It's not like he's a young boy.
Right.
So I can't, like, it's nothing to really speak to him.
But that's what I'm saying at the top of the show.
It's nothing to speak to him at all, bro.
Right. You can't tell him nothing. You can't tell him nothing. And I wouldn't want to tell him nothing. But what I would tell a young boy who looks at that and think it's okay because there hasn't been any consequences yet, it's not okay. Because you'll go somewhere else thinking, yeah, you could. It's like how dudes say SMD now. What would have happened in our time? You tell a dude SMD. As dudes would say it to each other in each other's face. Like, stop playing SMD. Suck my. What would we have done in our generation?
Oh, dude was definitely going in. Either going in your mouth. It depends.
Right.
Where you at and where you at and how well you know the person. Because if you don't know him at all, dude, and you somewhere, dude might
even
not
if you know him.
No, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, if you definitely don't know him, dude, that could lead to your death. That's what I'm saying.
Right. The consequences.
Like dude don't know you from somewhere and y'all just happen to be somewhere at the same and you open the Frank stand on them. Nah, that's consequences. It's very deep.
So when we fast forward now, at what point did it become cool for young boys to say it? Unless they kept seeing it done and there was no consequences. Because now the little girls are saying it. Everybody's saying it now.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. Girls been saying that in order to violate us. That's one thing in Brooklyn. As long as I've been living in Brooklyn, females in Brooklyn been saying that just so they can have our heads like about to explode.
Right. Right. And we know that's because now it's not just Brooklyn, it's not just conscious, it's like it's common language now. Dudes disagree. He'd be like, "What, you stupid SMD?" Like me, I still get thrown back when I hear dudes say that to each other. But because there was no consequences, I'm saying what we witnessing right now, it's a whole new era. Because one thing we didn't do either is play about the dead. We didn't disrespect the dead. Even if you did it, you don't be like, yo, you leave that conversation off the table. Certain things we didn't do. But and the point I'm making now is
dudes didn't go to the extent.
That's what I'm saying. Private conversations.
Dudes would say, like, they'll be around. Dudes be like, yo, you know, man, F that dude.
Yeah.
You know that. Come on.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. That's a private conversation. But you don't stand out there and say that because you know there's consequences. If a dude got chipped and you just on your block, like in front of anybody, in your close clique, yeah, you'd be like, F that dude, F that dude. It's been that for me. It was dudes who's my man's man, and he got chipped. If my man is sorry about it, like, yo, that's fucked up. And I tell my other man, yo, fuck him. And I tell him why. I'm like, yo, dude violated. Dude did this, that, and the third. So he better be glad I ain't catch him. Those are real conversations. What I'm saying now, those conversations between brothers is now brought to public platforms where dudes are celebrating the death of somebody else, and you can't do that, not without the consequences. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's where I want to go for young dudes.
That's what I'm saying.
Older dudes, they supposed to know better. We can't even call them OGs.
Because we never did, bro. This is the thing this is what I see. It's a lot of older goofies that once the platform open up, they just like saying anything, like the young dudes, like in order to get the shock, because they know the young dude, but the young dudes is talking how they really feel. They don't realize it's taboo because that's all they grew up on the internet. You got to understand, most of these kids, that's what they grew up on the internet. We didn't grow up on the internet. You know what I'm saying? We were full adults when it hit like that.
Yeah.
In our communities.
Nah, you're right. And this is what I'm saying. Dudes are misguiding the youth because here it is, right, Gutta? I got into it with a young dude on the Franklin Avenue shuttle one day. I was ready to tear his head off. And I'm realizing, like, I got to be the OG. I got to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell the young dude. But he don't know the consequences. Like, don't let the grades fool you. Don't, and this is what I'm saying, because nobody's telling the young dudes, because now, here it is, I could get jammed up, catch a case, because people, Gutta, you and I know that when we get busy, it ain't about arguing, it's a felony. Once we do whatever we're going to do, it automatically becomes a felony. We become suspect. Chances are, dude's going to be on the news. Because I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to have a shouting match with you if we're not getting along in these streets. If there's a little
that with your homeboys.
Say it again.
Shout matches with your homeboys.
Right. That's it. You only argue with people you care about.
Yeah,
that's it. You only gonna argue. Like if I don't know you, dude, I'm not arguing with you. Especially, and this is what here it is. I'm a grown man. You could look. Say that last part again.
Especially in the environments we came up in.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's like when you this is not the pinpoint Brooklyn at all. I'm just talking about where we in environments where 90% of people is struggling, doing bad. You know what I mean? So survival comes before anything else in people's mindsets. You know what I'm saying? So that makes them more aggressive because you're in competition with everybody.
Yeah.
Be in competition with their family. You understand what I'm saying? Because they not raised off of, love and nurturing. They raised off survival. So they might be beefing with their brother because shit might be short in the house. So that's when I speak on the environments we came up with. You know what I'm saying? Because most, I was raised off of love. You know what I mean? But I live in an environment where we have at least half of the population that was raised off survival in our community. You know what I mean? Even though I went off the tracks and all of that because it was dealing with emotional, probably, 9 times likely some mental, mental struggles, dealing with, loss and shit like grief and all that, not knowing how to, take it and, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, I agree 100% right there. And it's funny how we went this way and now we coming back this way because I agree with all that. And that's what I'm saying. With all of those compounded in our daily lives, the grief, the lack of what we got in the house, like how I'm going to eat tonight, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's where I'm going to sleep tonight for some dudes, you know what I'm saying? All of that compounded. And then you take that aggression out on somebody else.
It's going to be 9 times out of B, somebody that look like you.
Yeah. And there will be consequences.
That's the environment you live in.
And that's what I want young dudes to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, as an OG, here's how you get around that. Because just like you said, we was raised on love, but it ain't like we ain't have struggles. And we trying to give dudes the tools how you get around that. First thing you got to do is overcome them little dude feelings. Not saying your feelings ain't valid, but there got to come a time where you got to start analyzing why you feel how you feel and what can you do to resolve that feeling. All right, you hungry, get some food, but how can you do that? Some dudes, yo, real rap Gutta, I got jammed up, right? I got jammed up, laid up till I had to go to trial. When I got out, when I came home, I didn't hit the block. Though everybody's like, yeah, you home now, we get this work back popping. Nah, Gutta, I went to wash dishes. I went to wash dishes for less than $200 a week. There was a level of humility I had to have. Not, yeah, I'm back on the block. I got to jump back in where I left off. No, I had to reevaluate. How did I even get jammed up? And that's the thing, because nobody's helping dudes move up the ladder saying, yo, it's age appropriate shit you got to do at a certain point. So while I was getting at less than $200 a week, I knew I had to scale back on the shit I wanted, the shit I used to do, and reevaluate all the decisions I made that almost cost me my life. And this is what I'm trying to tell dudes. Like, you're not the only one hungry. You're not the only one broke. One time I was talking to my daughter in Gutta. Word to my mother, God bless her. I started crying to my daughter because I was telling my daughter how much we didn't have a lot. We didn't have nothing. I was like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't enough hot dogs in the house. Grandma cut them up, made franks and beans and rice, and now everybody could eat. Because it wasn't even enough for everybody to get one hot dog. I said, we struggle, and this is a struggle my children don't know about. But I had to tell them when I thought about it, my grandmother and my mother and them did the best they could do with the little bit that they had. And that created a level of humility for me. But I don't act like I've never been through the struggle. And sometimes I still struggle financially because the family still needs. And I ain't got nobody I could run to if I need extra 5-10 bands. I got to work harder and get it. You know what I'm saying? So these people struggling ain't the only one struggling, but my whole thing to them is that this too shall pass. You don't have to jump off the deep end trying to get it. I know dudes who got clipped trying to pull a robbery, and the person they thought they was going to run down on had the thing. And now, because of your desperation, you jammed up, and now your family don't got you, and you the provider. Your moms don't got a son, the kids don't got their father. It leaves a ripple effect. And this is what I'm trying to tell people, man. A lot of times we in these situations and we don't think we could get out of them. But dudes like me and you who've been through it, we can help them navigate through it. And it's not just about the bread or whatever. It's how we respond to shit in the streets. Shit that's designed for us to throw our life away. Because I'm glad you said that. Don't let somebody play you out your position. Gilly's in a good position. I'm glad he's not letting nobody play him out of it. And at the same token,
and not
a lot of shit can't go unaddressed.
Yeah, and this is another thing. See, this, I'm gonna tell you what mainly our biggest problem. Dudes are listening to other dudes, man. We want to impress niggas more than we want to impress women.
And they listen to the wrong dudes. But go ahead.
No, we want to impress. We want to impress dudes before more than we want to impress women or your family.
Yeah. And see, and I'm glad you said that. I was talking to my niece the other day. She's like, Uncle Tad, you come too far. And I'm like, I'm still the protector of the family. I don't care how far I came. My job is still to defend and protect this family. Because
that's a fact.
Right. So there's some things that's not going to go unaddressed. And my niece didn't tell me about some issues she was having. And I'm like, but this is what I'm here for. Because when you let people think they could get away with stuff, they're going to keep pushing the envelope. And then you know how it is, Gutta. When you let one sucker slide, everybody think it's an amusement park. So now everybody want to play with you. You punch this dude in the face, but he like, you ain't hit him when he said this. And now, you know what I mean? So as men, as OGs, some of the jewels I'm trying to give people is part one, how to avoid it. And part two, know when to stand up and know when to stand down. Because to your point earlier, everything don't warrant a response. I ain't saying respond to everything, but some things do got to get addressed at the proper time and place where it's to your advantage. Because I know what you're saying, pick your battles and pick your battles wisely. I hear that part you're saying.
But like, this is my point is, because like I said it before, bro. We too much. We be too much in our emotions, and that's what these dudes know. All the grifters and all that. All of them know that our community stay in our emotions. So all they got to do is say certain shit. Boom, 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 boom. That's gonna drive up views, likes, or comments, and all of that, and that drives the algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
And that's
saying,
what I'm saying. Where
so,
does the integrity start kicking in? Because dudes
bro,
is
where does the logic start kicking in for us?
well, I only move logically. That's why I'm
No,
home. I'm
I'm
free.
not
I'm
talking
safe.
about, man. I'm not
Right.
talking
Us.
about me and you, brother.
Right.
Talking about our community.
But that's what we're here for.
People is too, like, people getting their emotions. Like,
and
because I'm like, why would I address this dude in any fashion when he doesn't, like, he's no factor in my life, period. And if I do, I'm paying him. Literally.
yeah.
I'm getting him paid. In
And
any shape, form, or fashion, if I address him, I'm getting him paid.
that's what I'm saying. Like Gilly is doing the right thing. That's why I talked about the people around. Because for the adults that's in the mix, once you're in the mix, you're in the mix. It's like me being a father, raising my children. I always told them, don't make the mistakes I've made. Look at other people. This is why my sons haven't been jammed up and things like that, because we had these conversations. Had I not had these conversations, who's to say they wouldn't fall through the cracks? This is the value OG Wisdom gives, because we want to help you avoid it so that you're not in the mix. Because once you're in the mix, you in the mix. And there's nothing I can say to you once you're in the mix, except for looking at everybody else standing around. See, this is why you don't do this. This is why you don't do that. This is why you follow these rules. This is why you follow these guidelines. Because we know once you in it, you in it. And it's hard to get out the mix. When you got beef with dudes, when you do so to the point of consequences, it's not like, nah, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nah, because it's already done. Once blood is spilled, once disrespect is tossed out there, ain't really too much you can say to me. I just need my get back, bring it to an even playing field, because now it's on. But for those spectators, because if dudes learned them lessons back then, they wouldn't even be in the position now. Clearly, Gilly learned some things because he's not saying nothing. And I respect that. First of all, I respect him and Wallow for what they building for their family. Because you and I know it's hard for black men out here, period. And this is something I was saying before you came in. We got to fight so much out here, not just the quote unquote system of the courts and the police, but we got to fight jealous family members. We got to fight haters in our community, haters that don't know us. And that's a challenge. So, how do you navigate all this without going crazy? Because logic is you got to start doing the math and preventing certain things from even putting you in the bullseye to be a target. Because I've listened and I watched, because the whole thing, Gutta, is I don't want nobody to feel the pain of being in the hood. Like when I watch young dudes get clipped, when I watch little dudes, the judge drop the gavel and hit a little dude with 20 to life, my heart goes out to them, because they haven't experienced what you and I have. Because we're fortunate to still be here. You've traveled to different countries. You've been on beautiful beaches. I mean, it ain't like we ain't been locked up before, but then we came out. We able to enjoy our children, our grandchildren. We're really able to enjoy life. When some little dudes make one mistake and it's over for them. So they get locked up at 18 years old. By the time they 28, they realize that they are gonna miss so much of what life has to offer. White sand beaches, turquoise waters, beautiful women, money in your pocket, driving the car you want to drive, just chilling with, being able to do something as simple as go to the movies. They move themselves out of position because nobody giving them the right information on how to navigate that little conflict they may be dealing with in their life at the moment. And this is why OGs are so important, because I've seen young dudes say, yo, there's no OGs out here teaching us nothing. And I'm like, yo, that's not true. The thing is, a lot of them don't want to listen. But I see your wheels turning. I see your wheels turning, Gutta.
Like I said, I always say this, bro. It's parenting as well.
Definitely.
When they parents are stagnated and they don't know what they need for them and their child's advancement, they're gonna listen to somebody else and do it however somebody else, you know what I'm saying? And then they still be involved with certain things and their child grow up right there. So that's how the child is gonna, come outside.
Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do. But
No,
children
whatever they see is whatever they see
right,
in the crib,
yeah.
and they see it outside. That's what they're gonna go directly to.
Yeah. If it's not proper guidance and structure to navigate. I remember Little Tab.
Structure, guidance. If you're doing something contrary to growth in your household and your kids is right there, they going outside, they're going to be attracted to whatever is contrary to growth.
Yep. I'm glad you said that, because that's the most important part about the growth. I think I talked about this before in the show. Me and my daughter had a conversation. I asked her, two of my daughters, I was like, how do y'all see me? And they was like, who, Tad or Daddy? Because that's two different people. And I chuckled at that. I was like, what do you mean? They said, Daddy, we can get anything we want from Daddy. I said, Tad is always ready to fight, always ready. And I laughed because you know how they saw the duality. But my baby Kamaria said, but one thing about you, Daddy, is I don't know how you do it, but every 5 years you grow into a new person. You grow differently. And I thought that was dope that she noticed that, because we should grow. And I'm glad you said that, because one of the things that helped me change my life around was I can't tell my children don't do this, that, and the third, to your point, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing what I'm telling them not to do. So I had to make a lot of sacrifices and be the example, whether that's the money. Like I said, I got out, I took a job making less than $200 a week, Gutta. That was painful when I get 200 in the sale. You know what I'm saying? But I knew I was playing for the long game. And that's something that I try to explain to people too. You got to be in it for the long game. And part of that is sitting with yourself quietly and start critiquing the things that you want to change about yourself in your life. Because a lot of times people just want to smoke and drink and listen to loud music all the time because they don't know how it feels to be up in their own mind. They get up in here alone with their thoughts and they start hating on themselves. They don't want to hear their own thoughts. They start playing music or getting drunk, getting high. They just can't sit with themselves. You got to wrestle with yourself if you want to be this new person that you visualize for your life. You say you want this, that, and the third. There's nothing we can't have and do in life, but we got to be serious about it and we got to really visualize it. What does it look like?
You need the quiet time and not even the battle with yourself. You need the quiet time, bro, in order to be able to plan, plot, think about your next move. Yeah. How you gonna do that if the music playing loud, you yapping all fucking day? You know what I'm saying? How can you plan your next move?
Right.
Because you know the old saying, your next move is supposed to be your best move. You know what I'm saying? So it's best for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's funny. I told little Tad that one day, a couple of weeks ago, we was having a conversation and I was telling him how he got to be selfish. I said, you really got to start doing what you need to do for you later for what I say, later for what your mother say, later for what your baby mother say. You got to start thinking about what's in your best interest, right? And that was the conversation. He came to me the next day, was like, yo, what you were saying yesterday, I really didn't agree with, but I think I understand what you're saying now. I got to do what I got to do for me to help other people. I said,
Yeah.
exactly. I said, you got 2 sons. I said, check it out for me. I said, a lot of decisions I made was based on what your grandfather told me, what your grandmother told me, what your mother wanted and needed. I said, but let's fast forward to today. I look around. My father don't tell me what to do. That's my dude. I love him to life. But it ain't like he tells me, son, you need to do this, that, and the third. He respects how I live my life, and I love that. But my mother's no longer here, and I'm not with his mother no more. So all these decisions I made based on other people, how did that work out for me? Because at the end of the day, I got to live with the decisions. So I started making decisions for myself, and when I did that, I was able to take care of other people better, even though they didn't think what I was doing at the time was in my best interest, because all they seen was what could they get out the deal.
Yeah.
And that's how we think, you know what I'm saying?
How it made them feel. How
Right,
your actions made them feel.
right. And at the end of the day, we got to sleep with the decisions we made.
Bro, I just had a
And he
discussion with
understood that.
somebody a couple days. I was like, bro, like at the end of the day, before anybody else, I'm gonna take care of what I have to take care of first. I don't give a fuck about nobody else.
And no shit.
No, nobody else. And then like I don't feel bad about it at all.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because for the simple fact, if I don't take care of me, how the fuck can I do anything for anybody else?
And see, I love that you say that, because that goes back to what you were saying earlier. You know what I'm saying? About people trying to impress other people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Dudes trying to impress other dudes more so than they trying to impress chicks. Because if you want to impress anybody, impress yourself. The only competition I got is the old me. That's the only one I'm competing with. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to be better than I was yesterday. And that's the only competition I have. Anybody else, if somebody's doing something that I want to do, I actually salute them. I don't hate. I'm like, yo, how can I do that, but with my own spin on it? You know what I'm saying? Because I can't be that person, and nobody could be me. Like I can't be Gutta, and you can't be. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times we need folks to know, don't impress that dude next to you, because chances are he trying to impress somebody. Impress your children, if anybody. If anything, show them you a great man.
Look, all you got to do is ask 90% of the dudes that ever went to prison. If somebody they thought was going to, roll with them, shitted on them.
Yeah. I think
Maybe 100%. Maybe 100%. Because I'm not saying like dude might, because don't take it out of context and not think your closest person going all the way. No, it might be your closest person did that and they took care of business, but it's somebody else that you thought was gonna rob, because nobody just has one person that they feel is in their corner. You understand what I'm saying? It'll be a dude that y'all did stuff with. That's not your main man, but you done did stuff for him, and you just expect that he would do. Yeah. And then you get locked up and he just totally shit on you.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to take care of everybody else, when it comes to you being in an adverse situation, you're not gonna get what you expect.
And that's the mother of disappointments, that expectation, expecting people owe you something. I just had this conversation, I think it was yesterday, that only thing I want is anything I earn for. I don't believe in entitlement. If you tell me you're gonna give me something cool, if you don't, that's cool too. But what I earn, what I put my labor and energy into,
I'm gonna tell you this.
I want the rewards for that.
A dude can tell you he got something for you, Just in order for y'all to still talk, my nigga.
That's a fact.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Dudes
Nah,
that
I
do
heard it.
that just in order for y'all to just still be, you know what I'm saying? He'll just, yeah, I got something for you. Never see him, blah, 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 because he really didn't want to see you when he saw you.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yo, damn, yo.
Yeah, nah, I got that for you. I ain't forget you. I ain't forget you.
But it's like, you don't owe me anything.
Right. If you could do it, cool. If you can't, cool. But don't make promises to me. Don't act like I'm supposed to run behind you on somebody.
I mean, in my younger days, I would have really took that.
Right. But that's what I'm saying.
I would have really like been on this line.
Yeah. Nah, son, you said be a man of your word, son.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But come on, bro.
And then you ready to pop his head like you earned it.
Because people don't owe you nothing.
Word. And that's
nobody told you, especially if you went to prison, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody told you to commit the crime you committed.
Whoa. That's a fact.
Absolutely no one.
That's a fact.
And no matter what you might do for, see, this what people, a lot of people that do some years, at first they tight. Then they realize it's like, man, ain't nobody tell me to do this shit with me. Yo. You know what I'm saying? And I should have just knew better who I was dealing with.
Yeah, the expectations.
Yeah, for the individuals that don't live up to your expectations, then you start to going back and rewinding and looking at like, man, I remember that nigga.
Man. Yeah. Look, like we used to tell people, somebody do something, you get in trouble. Nobody told you to do that shit. But like, yo, I did that for you. I ain't asked you to. You made that decision. You made that choice. And this is where the wisdom kick in, because a lot of times you and I had to go through a lot of things, you know, being team players, holding people down, putting it all on the line. And it ain't nothing wrong with that, because that's just who we are. We natural warriors. But we got to realize everybody around us don't have that warrior spirit, and that's okay. It's like when I used to run with my crew when I was a teenager. Everybody, it'd be 20, 30 of us. Everybody in the crew ain't live.
Yeah.
Some of them just there to swell the numbers, make it look scary. Yo, it's like 30 of them, but only like 5 to 10 of us really gonna get busy. You know what I'm saying? So we got 20 hanger-ons and make it look good.
That's ill. Because for a nigga that banged, I hate being deep.
Yeah.
I hated that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool down the way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was cool. Yeah, you know everybody kicking it, blah, blah, blah. But like going outside, I hate being deep, bro. I hated that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, you know what? Why I hate it is usually a busted nigga that starts shit.
It always is.
You know what I mean? And you might be enjoying the situation. This one busted nigga just starts some shit, some bullshit. Oh, and even if you ain't started, it's the busted nigga from the other side. You know what I'm saying? Or busted nigga from one of the like this shit.
Yeah, it's unnecessary.
Yeah, that's why I used to hate being out like that, bro.
Yeah, and this is
because you know your thought process,
right,
is the extreme,
right, and you don't want to be in that position because you know you're gonna go. Because some people don't know that you're willing to take it all the way. Like I said, some dudes just want to yell and argue, and they'll stand out there and think that's beef, and that, you know what I'm saying. But for dudes like you and I, we're gonna take it all the way. Win, lose, or draw, it's gonna go down.
I'm only gonna get loud with
somebody you love.
We going back and forth, and we got a debate going on, boom, 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 boom. Because you know, even in arguments in the middle of those, I'm cracking jokes and all that. So
right.
It's with somebody I deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it might not be cracking a joke, but I'll say a humorous, like I make a point that's humorous to shoot down is point, and we getting live voices raised and but it's not to that.
It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, but I'm
actually loving all of that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that with nobody else, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? At least I not like I'm not, I can't do the back and forth with especially someone I don't know.
Right. And that's why I brought that up, Gutta, because with the internet culture right now, it's creating new social paradigms. Like it's making that look normal. And now people are running around because we still got to interact in society, and people are in the real world doing internet shit. Because you see it work on the internet don't mean it's going to work in real life. So you're not going to be allowed to yell at me because you've seen a video with two dudes yelling and without knowing the dynamics in the background. That's what I was talking about the disrespect to the dead, how people disrespect each other, and not realizing that you go in the real world with that energy and attitude, it's going to be some consequences. Because I'm not going to allow nobody to play with me. Because we could turn the cheek the first time or even the second time. But at what point do you and I have to say, all right, fam, I don't play like that. Stop, please. Because you and I know where we ready to take it. And like I said, if we get active, it's going to be a felony. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to yell with you, my dude. I'm not even going to raise my voice. Somebody just going to call the cops. Because it's only people who gonna be able to stop me and get involved in it once it really go down, and this is something I really want people to let young people know, because not necessarily you and I, because you and I know better. We know how to conduct ourselves in the street, in jail, just anywhere we go. We know how to be ourselves without ruffling feathers and getting in a confrontation. You know what I'm saying? We know how to avoid it. But some people don't have that skill.
Just like they've been telling us since for eons. Be your own man.
Yeah.
No matter what you do. You know what I mean? Because you got some young brothers out there that they already they active already. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, be your own man. Know how to think, and you know what I'm saying? And honestly, it's gonna be a point when you gotta be mature about how you live your life.
Yeah, how you respond to conflict. Nah, that's a fact.
How you live your life, period. Is because all right. Just think about when we was teenagers, all the junk food and all that shit we'll eat constantly.
Yeah.
So living your life is when I mean completely, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We have to
diet,
be
what we watch,
your diet, what you watching, what you listening to, like
even if you're going outside, get some sun.
I give you a perfect example. Speaking on the Kendrick, Drake, and what's his name?
J. Cole joint.
Yeah. J. Cole, he not even a part of it no more because he is no, literally, he's not even part. It's basically Kendrick, Drake, and
Rick Ross.
Yeah. And right, the competition is good. Like I would like. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have rather seen the competition between Kendrick and
J. Cole.
Yeah,
that'd have been a dope.
Because like I said, bro, is for me, and I can only speak from my point of view. Once it was like homie was getting people helping him write songs.
Yeah,
like I can't give you the title of an MC.
Right. And it's funny you say that, right? Because I talked about that too before you jumped in. Because not only do we got ghostwriters, now he used AI for Tupac and Snoop, and that's just cheating in my eyes.
For what?
He got another diss track where he used AI of a Tupac verse and Snoop. I didn't hear Snoop's response. I see Snoop did make a response on how he feel about that, but Drake got a joint with AI Tupac voice and Snoop voice. on the song. I'm like, yo, this is crazy because this is not even battling. This is not even rapping no more. Because at what point do you lean on your skill? So not only do you use ghostwriters, now you're using AI to battle. And then I was telling our young bro Jay Luck, I was laughing because I was like, yo, Pusha T just silenced them. You know, and it is healthy. It is healthy. You know, dudes sharpening their swords, battling. I mean, we seen it with LL and Kumo D. You know, we seen it with BDP and the Juice Crew. And it's dope when dudes go back and forth and leave it at that. But like we said earlier, a lot of hanger-ons because there's a certain energy that
From
dudes are trying to have. Dudes are searching for street cred too.
really from them group. As for like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really. I'm not a Drake fan at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right, me neither.
And like I said, the shit that he's doing now is like, because I seen the picture where he got the colored barrettes in his head with the fronts. I know it's kind of like an older picture, not that old, but I think it's last year. It was like sometime last year or this year.
So that's recent enough, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's recent enough. It might be an old, like, you know,
right.
New kids say, "Oh, it's 30 days ago." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like a little old, like it's dated a couple months. But like, bro, that's like if you didn't really grow up in that environment, like
right. Like so you pretty much saying like the negative images that they try to put on.
Yeah.
Because like we grew up in the gold teeth era and all that. Like
yeah, gold teeth and dudes. Like, bro, literally, I live in Tunica. You know how close that is to Memphis?
Nah, I've never been
That's
out there.
that was a 30-minute drive. I lived in Tunica, Mississippi. That's like a 30-minute drive to Memphis when we lived down there. We was there so I'm used to seeing that style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That style. Dudes had that for years. You know what I mean? But that's like he's stereotyping. That's like stereotyping.
Yeah.
Like,
So even with him aligning with Sexy Red, like you know what I'm saying, you think that's a street cred, try to still be relevant? Like, cause to your point,
he been doing but I never got how he wanted to start getting street cred anyway.
Because you got to remember, he not from the streets. That's the Degrassi High kid.
But bro, he didn't need street cred because he was making hits when he first came out. He wasn't doing all the shit that he's doing now, bro.
I know. And that's the point I was making earlier, right? Yeah, because a lot of this I was touching on before you jumped on. Because it's like dudes are millionaires, right, Gutta? Everybody we know, I said, everybody we know in the hood is trying to get to the bag so they don't have to be in the streets. And I was talking about these millionaires, dudes who got the millions are now trying to get street cred. You know what I'm saying? Like moving backwards. And that's where I was going with like the wrong message being put out.
In this instance, he's the only one that's out of place in that kind of talk.
Okay.
J. Cole is from the hood. Kendrick Lamar is from the hood.
Yeah.
Even Rick Ross is from the hood.
Right.
Literally, like grew up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Homeboy is not.
Right. Wasn't on the peripheral.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Like, all right. You remember, damn, Far Side?
Yeah. She keep passing me by dudes.
They never was on no tough shit, right?
Right.
All of them from the hood, though. Every last one of them.
Yeah.
So, I don't get Homeboy he just gradually going more and more negative stereotype of a black dude.
Yeah. Now, do you think that's intentional or
Yes.
what?
Yes, of course it's intentional.
Now, from him or his handlers?
Both.
Okay. Yeah, I think he should just stick to making music, and I think that's why I was never a big
He's an
fan of him.
entertainer.
He
Like
got some.
I don't see him as an MC. He's an entertainer.
Yes. Yes, he's an entertainer.
And I don't think, like, I'm of the mind that's dealing with hip hop. If you're an entertainer, and that's like what's the dude's the first song that they put on Wax?
Sugar Hill Gang.
Sugar Hill Gang. Dudes wrote Grandmaster Caz wrote their song. So how would it look back then if they called themselves on the battle people?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Because they're not MCs.
They're not MCs.
They're entertainers, yes.
You're entertainers. Somebody wrote the song for you in order for, you know what I'm saying? In order for you to make the Sugar Hill Gang a crew.
Right. And it is business. It's show business.
It's show, exactly.
It's all about making money and selling records.
Yeah.
Not so much about the talent and the skill.
It's not about the art.
Right. It's about
especially not now.
Yeah, yeah.
In my opinion.
Nah, you're right.
That's one thing I can like, because music is all opinionated.
Right. It's all subjective.
You know what I'm saying? All music is subjective to people's opinions, except for, you know, certain things that we know, like there's factual things about the industry. You talk about the industry as opposed to the music itself. You know what I'm saying? We know the negative influence that, you know, that they want to spread through the industry.
Yeah.
But the music itself is, you know what I'm saying? That's the only ties into the music there is. You understand what I'm saying? The influences.
Yeah. Speaking of influences, because I know it was something else we wanted to touch on. Candace Owens. Candace Owens, her influence. Do you think she'll be influential in the Black community now that she's not accepted in that circle she was running in before?
She's gonna have a certain amount of influence.
Now, you think that'll be positive or negative, the influence she has?
Negative.
In what aspect?
Either she outright lying or she don't know what she talking about in a lot of the shit she say. Like I'm not a college graduate, but I do like simple research can, you know what I'm saying, dispel half the shit she say. Yeah. Simple research.
So what do you think made her all of a sudden turn against this her handlers, for lack of better words, you know, to publicly denounce the actions of Israel and all that? Because that's pretty much why they kicked her off, because she wouldn't defend Israel. Why do you think she did that and messed up her bag? Or you think it was something already going on prior to that going on?
It's crazy because I just watched something about how they was talking about like the conservative joints, they platforms was like dropping.
Yeah.
Grifters grift, man.
Yeah.
They gonna go wherever the bag going. That's what I'm saying. So grift is grift. Whatever is going to pull and views and all of that, they're going to talk about it. And whatever is, because they looking for controversy. They trauma farm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Grifters love trauma farm. They
Right,
love
so
taking a emotional story and pinpoint, and then first, like, now I'm on neither side. I just want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They don't have an opinion on either side. You know what I'm saying? But then they'll go into what their preconceived notions on both sides, and then they see what however it's gonna come out.
and then jump on that side.
Bingo.
Okay. Okay.
You ain't
Yeah.
see how she started. Cause I be watching some of her shit just to see the dumb shit she be saying. Like that I could just pick out and be like, nah, that's definitely non-factual.
Yeah. A lot of points she made that I agree with is the evidence stuff. Like men acting like women shouldn't compete with women. I agree with that. Shouldn't be using the ladies' dressing room, shouldn't, like simple stuff. I think a lot of times people get it complicated and they lose themselves. And not just saying her, but a lot of these quote unquote pundits, when they start trying to get into the intricacies of politics, saying, yeah, I support this, I don't support that, I support this candidate and that candidate, without recognizing they're two wings of the same bird.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't support no candidates, like political.
That's my point.
I hate them niggas. Like all of them.
Because then we
got
got
some of them that makes them that when speaking on certain issues, they make good points. And 9 times out of 10, she's it's somebody in the Democratic Party. Sad to say. You know what I'm saying? I ain't heard. Yeah. I haven't heard one, especially in recent times. That shit is, instead of GOP, they need to put the 3 Ks to it.
Yeah, and that's all it really means.
Yeah, because
Grand Old Party, that's who they are.
Yeah,
that's who the Grand Old Party is, the GOPs. And I think as we was talking before, when we had our sister K Fighter, it is a point where we got to start creating our own political platforms that speaks to our interest. Because what's happening right now is they got these new citizens, I like to call them. Some people call them migrants. They're actually becoming quote unquote new citizens because they're creating an opportunity for them to be in law enforcement when they don't even understand the cultural nuances of Black and white people here in America. All they really have to go on is what's shown to them in TV and what the system is going to indoctrinate them with about who's the good guys and who's the bad guys. Because that's one thing this country has always been good at.
Doing that,
who's good and who's bad.
They've been doing that the past, 30 years anyway.
Right. But the migrants weren't here to know that. So now that when they become new citizens, they get indoctrinated with that.
Yeah, you see all them Dominican police in New York?
Yeah.
When that started?
Yeah.
30 years ago.
And now they got more. And how do they behave?
And
how they behave?
Worse. Them niggas don't even like their own.
That's the point I'm making.
They be doing Dominicans dirty.
That's the point I'm making, because now they bring in more migrants in, quote unquote, new citizens. And this is problematic for us because we got scholars and intellects that they don't put on mainstream media. I remember years ago, Dr. Claude Anderson was crying. He was talking about this. He said, if we don't get it together by 2015, it's going to be a wrap. And he said they're going to bring migrants over there, over here to the U.S. And it's funny because, like I said, they did that 100 years ago when they sent for the Southern Europeans. They said, send us your sick and huddled masses. So they sent for the Southern Jews, the Italians, and the Irish, made them honorary white people to try to crush the numbers and the things that we were doing when we were independent after Reconstruction. Because one thing they don't like to tell is that Black people, we had our own community.
they started the Irish first. They came first. They
Yeah,
came
yeah,
before slavery was over.
yeah, yeah. But they had them in small numbers. Cause it's like it ain't been Mexicans
Remember,
here prior to this.
potato. Well, shit, half the country is Mexico. What the fuck you mean?
Yeah.
Like ain't California,
Texas.
Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Arizona. Um,
Yeah, and that speaks to the point that there were already South Americans here, but now they opened it for more to come. It's like, like you said, Irish were here, but then they opened the floodgates for more to come. And that kind of pushed us back on the social ladder.
the first Florida Irish came during the potato famine. That's when they came.
And what years was that?
Used them. That was before slavery was over.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. The first rush, then they used them. That's where the riots in New York when they killed a lot of free blacks in New
Yes.
York. And like every time because you got to remember those were the majority of the indentured.
Yeah, indentured servant. Right. And that's when they weren't considered white, though. They were just called Irish.
Yeah. Then, like after the potato famine, like, but this is the thing is, like, they put everybody through the rigmarole until they white adjacent.
And that's what they're gonna do with these new folks. Because even when they fill out applications and you say you're Hispanic, they actually you're a white Hispanic or a black Hispanic. And nobody want to be black. So you're gonna make them honorary white adjacents. Because now I know in DC they're gonna allow some migrants to be law enforcement there, and they're trying to do the same thing here. Because though they say they don't have monies for black people here who built this country, look at all the set asides that immigrants are coming in. And again, I ain't knocking nobody for looking for a better life, but I am knocking the government for using my taxes to fund a whole nother group of people when we got a group here that needs attention.
What we got to do is stop worrying about the people and worry about the people in power. The people that's coming in don't know. They don't know that they pawns.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So people taking their frustrations out on them, that shit don't help us.
Right.
Go to
Exactly.
the power source. You gotta go to the power source.
Exactly. But you could only go to power with power. And the only way we're gonna get power is to organize and be on one accord, as opposed to name calling and things like that. Certain things we're gonna have to do, like stop supporting certain businesses. I mean, they got Black Solidarity Day in place where we're not supposed to show up and appear nowhere just so we can show the strength that we have and how one day of boycotting we can shut things down. That's what Dr. King did with the boycott down in the South, And what was so crazy is they boycotted for over a year.
But you got to remember why it was easy.
Because we knew who the ops was. We knew who the enemy was.
No, it was easy because most of the places we boycotted ain't want our business.
No, I'm talking about the bus company and the
the bus.
But
they
that
didn't.
But
they
that's
didn't,
only in one town.
Look, they thought they didn't want our business until we, you know what I'm saying? But now you got to think about it is nobody, like, you may have a brand that may show disrespect in people's eyes, you know what I mean? And people can boycott a brand. But you got to understand how regional the United States is.
Yeah.
we discriminate against each other in the United States,
which is unfortunate. And that's why these conversations is important, because we're watching people come and stick together. People from all different countries, not saying they're sticking together with the different countries, but them as a group coming, realizing like, yo, only way we gonna win this is to stick together, because the people here got home court advantage. These are visitors. You know what I'm saying? They like the visiting team, and they trying to win that life. And us, unfortunately, we keep saying we got home court advantage, not realizing that the game is fixed. The ref is against us. The scorekeepers are against us. So we don't have home court advantage because we came here as visitors. You know what I mean? This is not home court advantage. We got to get our head back in the game.
We came here as prisoners.
Exactly. To tell the truth.
Different thing. We
right.
Visitors. We came. I mean, we was here as visitors at one time, but before we was getting snatched up. You know what I'm saying? Some of us probably was still over here and never came as visitors and end up, you know, living in settlements and stuff like that.
But, and that's why they switched the laws on us.
But
because it was like you can't tell who free and who enslaved, so all of y'all are lower class citizens. And that's what the laws was for. You know what I mean? Because to your point, everybody who was black here wasn't enslaved. And all white people here wasn't free. Rather, who we call white now, because like you said, the Irish were indentured. It's like in this paradigm now, we look at Irish people as white, because that's what we've been taught, that they're white.
Oh, well, we got to remember some of them Irish was black too.
From Ireland, right?
Yeah, and England.
Right. Oh, yeah, we know we was there first. I'm talking about in terms of how we got to society, how we are now.
No, I'm saying
we're watching historically happen right now.
I ain't gonna say a lot, but there were indentures that were of African descent from Ireland, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they came over here once after Bacon's Rebellion.
Yep. And during Bacon's Rebellion,
they started separating white from black. So that's when they made an African will be enslaved for he'll be, you know what I'm saying? His term is for life.
Yeah.
From then on in the Virginia colony.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was that was basically one of the only colonies at the time.
Yeah, because they always negate the Spanish colonies that where they stopped practicing slavery way before the British colonies, because Florida and those states further than South Carolina was they had Spanish colonies there. Because a lot of times they say we ran north and some of our folks ran further south, but they don't talk about that.
But and what was the reason for them abolishing it in the South?
What you mean, further south?
Yeah, Florida and Georgia and.
Well, it was the rebellions. It was black people resistance, fighting, busting heads.
Seminoles, which comes from Cimarron, runaway slaves, runaways.
Yeah, but see, these things are not properly taught, so it's so much confusion.
Yeah, so most people think the Seminole Nation is just some straight-haired, you know what I'm saying, natives that they would assume. Seminole, the name comes from Cimarron, runaway. They ran away, they started living with natives because that's who lived in the area and who had their own independent places. But, but when they went there, they were actually the protectives of the natives.
Yeah.
Because these were Africans that had been living in Spain as well.
Yeah. And see what's so crazy, and I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of times we see our people in our community say we're not African, we're indigenous, and we've never been indigenous, we're African. And sometimes a lot of people make statements and they don't have a frame of reference. And I'm glad you brought that up, because if they do just a little bit of research, they would see that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's the same thing with the diaspora wars, where with at least with Americans and Caribbeans, that dumb shit.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, for the simple fact is, all of us are family, my nigga.
And that's a fact.
Because you have people that he act. I'll give you a perfect example. Bookman.
Yeah, Bookman Duddy, yeah.
Yeah, Duddy Bookman. They kicked him, they sold him from Jamaica to Haiti.
Right.
So you think that's the only person they did that with?
Of course not.
Mind you, this is during the time that I think this is, the French and the English, I think this is the 100 Years' War or some shit like that. I know they was at war. But the motherfuckers that got them slaves, they ain't got nothing to do with that, bro.
Right.
This is commerce to them.
Right. Yeah, see, this is something we got to get the layers peeled back on, because unfortunately, even as we move forward, as we talk about the crime in our community, like, because we winded down, we got like 13 minutes left. As we talked about the crime in the community, you see people from the diaspora come and try to adopt these negative behaviors that they see in our community. It's funny to hear Africans say nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this nigga, yo.
Yeah, come on, my nigga.
Yeah, it's crazy, but they don't understand the historical background of what happened.
They just hear us say it all the time.
Right.
They think that's just part of. I mean,
right.
Most because they're not taught our history on the continent.
Right.
They not for real, and like they're not taught some of their own history of the continent as a whole.
Yeah.
They may know of the places in their country.
Yeah.
They may not have been taught, like, because you got to remember who made the schools was the colonizers. You understand what I'm saying? So they're not getting taught about Kemet, Great Zimbabwe, Songhai, Ghana, Mali,
Azania, and all of these things.
Yeah, the Alma heads and all of these that were actually from those regions that conquered Spain and Portugal and parts of Italy. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They're not taught because the colonizer don't want them to know, oh shit, we was in control of the lands that they consider their homelands.
Right.
Which aren't actually their homelands, because they came from the western part of Asia.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because I guess it's time to now
Neolithic Europeans were black.
Say that again?
Neolithic Europeans were black.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, this is based on their science.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
We've already known this.
That's a fact.
That's why I laughed when they was like, Putin opened the vault to show that Jesus Christ was black. And I'm like, who didn't know this? In 2024, you trying to tell me something like this?
Well, what's crazy is how many people didn't know.
Right. A lot of people say they don't know, because I hear people say,
Yo,
it
you
doesn't
heard about that? Like they're like, they honestly surprised.
Yeah, I ain't running to too many of those.
That shows well, you got to understand the crowd that you in.
Yeah. And I tend to stay out those crowds that don't read and research or study.
I'm in the street every day.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm basically, like, when I'm at work, I'm walking the neighborhood, so I'm around these crowds all the time.
Right.
So I'm always, telling them, bringing them up to speed on certain things because they might, they just seen it on YouTube and.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's funny. Clarendon 3500 said, "Why did he open the vault? What was he looking for, and why now?" And all I can say is that's a good question. Why now? I'm thinking since him and China is trying to go to Africa. I guess they subconsciously trying to build an alliance. Say, look, we know who y'all are. We respect y'all. This is just me guessing, and as I tell you, it's just a guess. You know what I'm thinking because, like I just said, a lot of us pretty much knew. If we read any books by Dr. Ishikamusa Barashango, who wrote God, the Bible, and the Black Man's Destiny, African People, European Holidays, Book 1 and 2, African Woman, Original Guardian Angel, he always brings that up. And he was a reverend, peace be upon him, but Barashango always talked about that stuff.
Man, Ivan Van Sertima when he did African influence in early Europe, he showed all the Black Madonnas and where they came from.
Yes.
They originally come from Aset and Heru.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you're in the quote unquote learned crowd, you know what I mean? You knew these things.
Right. Sister Farnessa said a lot of Black folks down south don't want to hear anything about Jesus being Black.
I mean, a lot of our people don't want to hear nothing when you tell them, yo, nobody has a exact historical record of Jesus existing.
Yeah. Oh, that's the fight right there. That's the fight right there. Or even say that his name wasn't Jesus.
I mean, it doesn't matter when you
Right.
like I have yet to find any historical documents stating anything about his life or his death or his crucifixion or any of that.
Right. Look, if it ain't in the King James Bible, they ain't going for it. They ain't going for it. It's what that Bible said. Later for the Geneva Bible that was out before the King James versions, and I think it was like 100 Bibles before that about books being taken out. And it's funny when you start getting into the knowledge, you literally pay attention to current events, watch them alter history right before your eyes with these new translations. And I think they got an LGBT Bible now. And like, how do you sexualize the Bible? Like, really, how do you do that? But because of the social climate, people are going for it. And that's what's moving people backwards to where they don't use logic and just function off emotion.
I told you, we definitely got a big problem with that.
What's that?
Dealing with emotions. We get emotional, caught up in something. That's why you like what Sister Farnessa said was the reaction to somebody saying if Jesus was Black, you know what I'm saying, in the South. Like why do you have that emotional attachment to something that you can't prove?
Word. And all they say is because the Bible says so. They're like, well, who wrote the Bible? God wrote it. Like God, and that is crazy, man. And it's funny because I tried to watch that dumbass show Good Times. Yo, Real Rap Gutter. I didn't get the 5 minutes. I didn't get the 5 minutes of a cartoon on Netflix. I was insulted. I just turned it off. But to the point about Jesus, the complexion of Jesus. Remember, Florida Evans was cooning when she was like, she don't want to hear about no Black Jesus. Even when Michael pointed it to her in the Bible. She's like, that's the only one I know, and that's the one that's gonna stay up.
Because I'm saying the whole concept of that, like, I don't care if he show anything in the Bible is like who when. All right, I'm gonna give it to you from this perspective. We know the first human being was in Africa.
Yes.
That was approximately half a million years of modern Homo sapiens sapien, about 500,000 years ago that we know. That's a conservative, calculation.
Right.
How old is Christianity, my nigga?
Couple
Exactly.
2,000 years.
You don't got to say no more.
Right. Of course.
So
Ridiculous arguments.
You think we have the time to be worrying about something, a concept somebody came up with at the most 6,000 years ago, and we've been on this fucking planet damn near 1 million, and we worrying about that?
But remember, that's the tool and when we talk about this system, that's one of the tools they use to keep our people dazed and confused and not thinking right. So we don't function in right knowledge. That's where the emotionalism come in, and it makes it cancel out the logic. The logic that we're talking about, it cancels it out because the math ain't mathing. But if this is what God said, I remember a sister one time told me.
But this is what people got to understand. And this is all even these spookish spiritual people that become spookish. Even our ancestors, when they dealt with any divine thought, it was mathematical. Everything dealt with math, logic. They gave energies personas. You understand? In order for the undeveloped mind to understand what they were trying to show you.
Right. And this is why these conversations are important, because you said it, undeveloped minds. Because people are aging, but they're not growing. And their mind is just suffering. You know what I'm saying?
But we gotta also understand, bro, we've been enculturated into a mindset for what now? Close to 500 years.
Yeah. But see, and that's where the cognitive dissonance come in, because now we in the
antithetical to our natural way of life.
Right, but we in the information age now. People are choosing to be ignorant, because anything you want to find, I mean, the libraries are open, the internet is there. We can literally leave the country now. You can fly and go see these places that you've only read about in books and that you've only heard about, and expand your thinking.
I understand what I'm saying. We've been enculturated.
Yes.
Into a system that's antithetical to our natural behavior. That's why we do the mad shit that we do.
Definitely.
You understand?
No, I understand exactly what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, it's like, it definitely won't be fixed during my lifetime or your lifetime.
Oh no.
But the thing is you get certain people that's going to pass it on.
Yeah.
You got the individual, you get the individuals that really care. But some people think they care and they don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They think they care, but they only care when people looking. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, because they don't put this in a everyday their everyday living, everyday thought process, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like, I made a point out to the homies, right?
Yeah.
White boy told, you know what I'm saying? He was drunk. He told somebody SMD. He opened the Frank stand.
Wow.
He got fixed up, but he didn't. He
As
didn't,
he should.
He didn't get what would have happened if that same dude
was one of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the point I kept making. And dude's like, yo, you talking about? I'm like, yes, bro. I been told you that because y'all gotta just look at it. Let's be honest. If that would have been
one of us,
y'all would have stomped his guts out.
yeah,
Would have been one dude.
yeah,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, it's crazy.
So I was just saying that in order for like people to remember that on when it's one of us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whoever he threw that out to, let him deal with it. Because the white boy, don't get it wrong, he got spanked. Like,
right. But of course,
he got
not to
finished.
the degree that we take it with each other.
Yeah.
Because we always go off the deep end with each other.
Yeah.
That self-hate be real. Yeah. And like you said, it's enculturated for us to hate ourselves.
Yeah.
To be emotional.
Like, you'll hear somebody say, yo, you know, Africans don't like us. I don't like them motherfuckers, right? But when you ask them, so you met every last one? Like you met every last African or Jamaican or you know what I'm saying?
Or whoever, right.
Yeah, or whoever. You know what I'm saying? Because you know you got the dudes that like be mad at like I would never get mad at the migrants.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You might get a little frustrated because you know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, these mom they giving, but I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at the government that's overlooking all these homeless people.
Right. Creating more competitors for us.
Yeah. You overlooking all the homeless people out here. You know what I'm saying? The mental health issues, the you know what I'm saying? All these things that we dealing with right now in real time. You know what I'm saying? And you're allowing more competition for housing, for mental health,
for money.
You know what I mean? For money.
Money, all the resources.
Yeah, for all the resources that we need in order to help us be able to grow.
Right. Since so much is already taken from us.
Yeah. No, they want to keep us stagnated. And what they do is they put one or two people and be like, yo, this happened. Yo, was X amount of CEOs are like for a major corporation that benefits off of white supremacy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Gutta, it's 4:00 now. It's time for us to get up out of here. Yo, this was a dope bill, man. Word, we got to continue. Family, we want to thank y'all all for joining us today. You know, we be back next Sunday. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Sister Farnessa, Brother Magnetic Tyson, Claridon 3500, and everybody else tuning in. Sister Anusa, shout out to you. James Bookman, Aminatu son. We appreciate everybody who tapped in with us today. You know, hopefully you're inspired by something. Yeah, like, subscribe, tune in with us. We'll be back here next Sunday talking our talk, discussing other unfolding developments in the community. So like, subscribe, share, hit us up on the inbox. Some of the things you want us to cover, some things you may not really know or understand about hip hop, street culture, or anything like that. We here. All right. So y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed, y'all stay true. Brother Gutta, anything you want to say before we let the people go?
Just I got love for my peoples.
All right.
No, but yeah, we have to be like proactive, man, in anything that we doing. Like as a community, we really gotta start looking out for each other more. You know what I mean? Not on no financial, because that's I'm not opening
for each other well-being. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, word. Niggas need to give me more money. No, nigga. I'm looking out for you, really. You know what I'm saying? Telling you real shit that you need to do in order for you, because you know I could use it. The nigga need to tell me some real shit. You feel me?
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact right there.
That's what I mean in supporting each other. It's like letting each other know when we fucking up. You know what I'm saying? When people is down, let them, you know, help lift them up, give them, you know. That's what I mean.
Yeah, because we don't want none of the other shenanigans. We ain't trying to rob you. We ain't trying to take what's all you need.
I will say this: if anybody feel generous, you know, I don't have no problem taking it.
Oh no, that's a fact too.
So
that's definitely a fact. Or all right, family. We want to thank y'all for tuning in. We about to sign out.
Love y'all.
Y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. Hey.